Hello, beautiful conscious creators. In my previous videos, part 1 and 2, we talked about the purpose of the twin flame connection and what happens when we meet our twin flame. Today, we're going to be touching on the question that I have to think stumps everyone that comes into this experience, and that is, are we meant to marry our twin flame? Have you met your twin flame? If so, is this a question that you're contemplating, or more specifically, making you absolutely crazy? I'd love to hear in the comments below. But hopefully what we talk about today will assist you in not jumping to any conclusions, but instead being more at ease with the natural unfoldment of the process. There's no need to rush or force anything. Your higher self will show you exactly what needs to be seen in order for you to make a decision that's highest aligned for you. Be patient, be at ease, and allow through mindfulness. So what's the long-awaited answer? Well, the fast answer is not necessarily. I believe that there's always going to be opportunities that present themselves based on what we agreed to experience before we came into this life. And the twin flame connection is definitely one of them. However, we do have the freedom to decide how we're going to choose to move through the experience. So the meeting of the twin is pre-orchestrated by the higher self before we came into this life, because it is an instrumental part of our ascension for those who have chosen to be activated from this connection. But whether or not the twins stay in relationship and then union will largely depend on where each is on their own path at that point in time and what each decides for themselves. Should they stay together in relationship and then into union, that specific kind of relationship will inspire a certain lifestyle, and a way of being that'll be more soul and mission driven than other types of relationships. Now, the fact that twins aren't necessarily meant to marry each other is going to be very hard, a hard one for the human to grasp, because the intensity of the love and connection that's experienced will throw your human into a complete tailspin, thinking, surely, absolutely, this is the person I'm meant to be with. But if we remember what the purpose of this connection is, and if you haven't seen my video on the purpose of the twin flame connection, you will want to watch that next, or even watch it again. But we are reminded that the first and most important thing about the union is, or this relationship, is the union within ourselves first. So marriage or being with your twin for the rest of your life, or this life, will more than likely be the icing on the cake, so to speak, should things align in that way rather than an absolute given. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. New videos do come out weekly. Okay, so let's get into what happens if you are married or in a relationship already when you meet your twin. Before you make any rash decisions, remember first and foremost, your twin is a catalyst to elevating your consciousness. And some catalysts come into your life, do what they're called to do on a soul level, which is trigger and activate, and then their role is complete. So there is no further relationship to be had. Others may involve a relationship. So that being said, allow the dynamic over time to reveal what the nature of your relationship can or cannot be. There is no rush. If it is highest aligned to be together, time will not be an issue, because the soul is quantum. It has no limits. Also, keep in mind, more than often, the twins will have a time of separation to be able to come into greater states of wholeness within themselves before they do come into union. Now, the last thing that you want to do is get caught up on the title twin flame and romanticize what it's supposed to be or what your human wants it to be. There's no quote unquote supposed to be here. If you get attached to the title and the outcome, it'll create a much more difficult path for you, and we don't want that. So keep these things in mind. It will make it a much easier experience to navigate if you hold these things in your awareness. One final thought before we get into if your twin is already married or in a relationship. And that is if your twin's role is only to be a catalyst, and that is to come in and out of your life and then their role is done, do bear in mind that with the inner work that you will do because of this activation, you're going to be elevating in consciousness, which means that your current relationship is poised to elevate too. And become way more conscious, thereby serving all parties. Again, all souls have agreed to this experience, including your current partner. If, again, you're already in a relationship when you meet your twin. So there's never any reason to feel guilt that this has happened. However, at the same time, it's also not in place to give you permission to have an affair and to act out of integrity, truth, or transparency. Because as we've talked about before, this experience is about just the opposite: divine love, truth, integrity, elevating consciousness, and so on. But I think you'll find if you are in a relationship already and you choose to stay in that one, it's going to serve you, your current partner, and the relationship itself. If your twin is married or in a relationship already, then what does this mean for you? Same as what I mentioned earlier, to allow the natural unfoldment of this relationship to happen organically. Your higher self will lead the way. What it does not mean is that you put your life on hold and hold on to the attachment of what your human wants it to be or thinks it should be. And then you sit around waiting for what you hope might happen because you're attached to a certain outcome. That equals disaster and hardship, struggle and pain, and on and on. And again, we don't want that, all right? So our soul's work or expansion will never be contingent upon someone or something else outside of ourself. So taking that route of waiting and not living for yourself will again equal hardship. Moving through the experience by allowing without attachment equals much greater ease and peace. So we always get to decide how it is we're going to do something, but I do understand that sometimes that's easier said than done. Now, again, if you are not in a relationship, your twin is not in a relationship, but you're also not together, because you will have elevated in consciousness from this experience. The wonderful news is that is then who you're going to be bringing into your experience in your next relationship. Because if you've elevated, then the other person is going to have to be a vibrational match to that. So you can see, like, there's so many beautiful things that come from this experience, no matter what the current set of circumstances are. Now, our last point will be about about being in a relationship with your twin. Okay, so if everything aligns for both twins to be together in a relationship, then you'll want to watch my next video about, quote, this is the title, How to Be in a Healthy Relationship with Your Twin Flame. And I think what you'll find is this, the tips that I give, the 6 tips that I give in this video is applicable to any romantic relationship. It'll support you no matter what the dynamic is. Okay, so with that said, thank you so much for being here today. And I hope this supports you and helps to answer what can be a really difficult question that we tend to come up across when this happens. I hope it helps with that. All right, bye for now, and see you in my next video.